Thanks for keeping an eye on the place. All right. I got a problem. I don't know what's going on with the secondary market, but it's getting a little out of hand. First, it was Gelgja just getting bought out and then skyrocketing to $4, which at the time I was building Fenrir and I was like, that's too rich for my blood for a common. And now it's sitting at least twice that, but more consistently, you'll find it for about $10, which is ridiculous to me. More recently, I was building Luard, and thankfully, I bought some Cursed Eye Ravens when they were only $2, because now they're also sitting at 10. It's another $10 common, and actually you'll be lucky if you get them for 10 because there's only a couple at that price last I checked, and then you're gonna be paying 15, 16 for a common. I don't know. It's just doesn't sit too right with me. There's many reasons for why this is potentially happening. There's a bit of a TCG boom going on right now. I don't know how much that's necessarily affecting Vanguard. I know there's probably some people who look to things like the Magic and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And maybe those are a bit too expensive for them, so they're trying to get in on the ground floor of something like Vanguard. There's definitely something going on with the old SPs from like the first few sets. It's become a bit of a segment on my streams to just see what kind of crazy prices we can find on Vanguard cards. Speaking of, follow me on Twitch. I go live every Saturday morning right now, so it's a pretty good time. Now, like I said, I don't know how much this is necessarily affecting Vanguard. These cards are more used for their playability rather than their collectability, so I feel like there's probably potentially some people who are noticing that these cards are staple in very high profile decks, and then they're either getting bought out or it's like a mixture of people building the decks and then other people coming in and buying out the rest and then putting them back up at a markup. I don't know that's for sure that's what's happening, but if it is, it's a little scummy to me. I mean, you know, I gotta respect the hustle, I guess, but still doesn't sit right with me. Purple Trapezist has been like a $20 to $40 rare for a while, but considering it's from a set that's almost 10 years old at this point and it's never been reprinted, no, the promo does not count. I can kind of understand it. What I understand even less is what happened with Crayon Tiger. I tweeted about that because that was just honestly disgusting. It was completely bought out, market price $13, and then it was relisted for $200. Thankfully, that's come down since then because thankfully whoever did that got a brain in their head and realized that no one's going to pay for that. As it is, I think it's sitting at like 40 to 60, and people still aren't paying that as far as I can tell, and I don't blame them. Great Nature has never really been one of the more popular clans, bit more niche when it comes to clans, so I don't see anybody running out there to spend $60 on a playset of a double rare. But I guess my main issue with this is this can make the game more difficult for newcomers to get into the game. And the game is growing with Overdress. It grew with the last reboot and it is definitely growing with this one as well. It doesn't take much to just look online and see a bunch of people either on the subreddit or YouTube comments, I guess. And people are like, oh, I'm new to the game. Where do I start? I'm interested in this. And with that, that extends to premium because with the reboot, a lot of people have said, well, I don't want to not be able to use my cards, and I also want to be able to use the new stuff, so I guess I'll go play premium. And this is only going to continue because as Overdress releases, I don't see this slowing down, or at least at the very least, I don't see it stopping. And this is a very exciting thing. It's something I'm very happy about. I love that there are more people just getting into Vanguard in general, and then also this new interest in the premium format. I don't like that premium staples are now getting bought out and then listed at 5 to 10 times the price. I don't want to sound like I'm coming down on vendors. I mean, like I said, you know, it's your hustle, I get it, but in some of these cases it just feels a little bit predatory. The main point is we need another revival collection. The festival collections were good, but those don't really count because those only reprinted cards that were in standard. The fact that we have had multiple commons now shoot up as much in price as they did. Ideally, you'd think that as common cards, there would be plenty of supply, but as the game is growing and there's more interest in the premium format, I'm not necessarily convinced that there is enough supply to go around anymore. The game was of a different size back then, and I obviously don't have any concrete numbers, but I would like to think that the game is bigger now, and really that's only going to continue to be so, or at least I hope so. It definitely looks like it's going in that direction, but we really need more revival collections. We haven't had one in 2 years, and even then those really only printed higher rarity cards. We're now getting to a point where we need lower rarity reprints as well, because the supply is apparently getting that strained. Now, obviously, that comes with a few caveats, I guess, because the vendors who are currently pricing those cards at such a high price and potentially selling at that high price, they potentially have some serious stonks on their hands, and cards that they expected to make a big profit on could suddenly drop in value. And obviously, I wouldn't blame them if they didn't like that, but I can blame them for pricing those cards at such a high price to begin with. Like when something says the market price is $2 or $3, then you turn around and list it for 10 or 15. But at the same time, it's also within their right to do so. If they're bought out and they're the only one with supply, they can kind of dictate to sell it whatever they want to for. Doesn't mean anybody's going to buy it, and so far it doesn't really look like anybody is. We do have confirmation that there's a premium product coming out this summer, and it very well could be a new revival collection thing. And if that is, that's great. I definitely think it needs to be, or it could just end up being another premium collection. Regardless, I just kind of want to put this out there and just say that we desperately need more reprints, especially for an eternal format like premium. I automatically think of something like Magic, who does its Masters sets every year. Every year it puts out a set of reprints for, I believe, the modern format, and as far as I can tell, it's kind of hit or miss with those. I don't really play a whole lot of Magic. I dabble a little bit, but I definitely haven't ever played the modern format. But I think Vanguard should adopt something like that for the premium format. I think Revival Collection should be a yearly thing, especially if this trend continues of cards getting bought out and then relisted for 5-10 times the price. I only see it as a net positive for the game and the format in general, because then all of a sudden people have an easier on-ramp to the premium format. And then ideally, the format doesn't look as intimidating as it could for somebody who's brand new to it. I almost feel like they should do kind of what they're doing with clan selection, but kind of do like a revival collection mixed with a premium collection. Ideally, they would give like a new G unit to every single clan, with a next potential premium collection, please be G guards. Literally everyone is asking for new G guards. But I think of something like clan selection and how every clan is being given 5 cards in those sets. I would love to see something where you have like one brand new card, a brand new G unit, to help keep like that aspect, keep the G zones alive, and like 4 reprints of like staple cards, because again, I feel like that just makes it easier for people to get into the format, especially since we're going to be adopting this nation-based setup in the new standard. If someone's coming in brand new to Overdress, but then they see at their shop there's people playing premium, or they hear about premium and they get curious and they want to check it out and it looks like something they'd be into, it's really intimidating to get into the format, which is, why I did my premium primers. Check those out if you haven't, and also check out Salam's article on zerodamagegaming.com if you want to get into the premium format. But I think doing something like that, where it's sort of like a premium collection and a revival collection in one, just gives somebody an immediate on-ramp to the format. They suddenly have a brand new G unit to build their deck around and a 4 staples reprinted for them. And honestly, when it comes to older format cards, for the most part nowadays, I think you'd only run about 3 or 4 older format cards in your premium deck, depending on what the build is, of course. Obviously, that's something that can vary quite a bit, but I'm just thinking of decks that I built recently, and honestly, for the most part, I use mostly newer cards, but there's those handful of older format cards, those handful of like rares and commons that are just staple in every single build of that clan. I just would love to see that come together, because it takes something that they've already established and is accepted with the format of a clan selection, and then is giving a mix of both new and old. So that way, if you're a player who already has a lot of those cards that are being reprinted, well, you still have something new to get, and you're also getting loaded up with staple cards for other decks that you could potentially build. Maybe that's a dumb idea. I don't know. That's just what I thought of and what I think I would like to see, because especially since they said they were going to be backing off how many sets they're printing in a year, I think just kill two birds with one stone, and then you'd have a product that would be perfect for people new and invested already in the format. Really, I just wanted to put this out there as like an open letter of Bushiroad, please. We need revival collections. We need more consistent reprintings, especially if the game is going to continue to grow the way it is. The amount of people I see that are coming in just interested with the new stuff that's going on with Overdress, or there's zero players that are making the leap to the physical card game, which is crazy to me, but it's super cool. It seems like it's more and more, and there's a lot of interest in the premium format, and I've been very outspoken on people joining the premium format, and I would hate for somebody to suddenly find something they think looks cool and they want to play, and then they go to try and build that deck only to find out that it's actually very expensive to build just for this one common they want to use. Because one of the things I've kind of championed about the format is that it's not as expensive as you think, and this kind of goes completely against that. But really, like, whether or not, like, if we end up getting a revival collection type set this summer, if that's what the premium product is, great. And if it isn't, please give us something. And honestly, the type of reprint sets they've done before have only really been for high rarity cards. So I just want to see them go beyond that, because high rarity reprints are nice, of course. If this trend continues, we're going to need lower rarity reprints as well. Anyways, I think that's about all my thoughts on the topic. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you completely disagree with me. Either way, I'm curious to know what you think, because obviously this is just my perspective. This is just what I think, and I'm very biased on wanting the game to be cheap and accessible, but I know that there's people out there who I've seen even people comment that they don't want reprints in this game because they quit Yu-Gi-Oh over reprints or something. And come on, man, you sound like such a prick saying that. I'm sorry. Like, oh no, it's easier for more people to get into my game, so I don't like it. Keep that gatekeeping crap out of here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know your thoughts. Really curious to know them. Like and subscribe and share, all that good stuff. Also want to shout out my Twitch. Been going live every single Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. That's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys and just talking Vanguard mostly. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter too. It's really fun interacting with you guys in a variety of ways. So anyways, until next time.